Hello everyone, welcome back to CloudForge Lab. This is the fourth video of the Azure Load Balancer series. In the previous videos, I've given a high-level overview of all the load balancer services provided by Azure, and then I've given a demo on internal load balancer as well as the public load balancer. In this video, we are going to explore Azure Traffic Manager, a core networking service and an important topic for AZ 700 exam. By the end of this video, you will understand what Azure Traffic Manager is, how it works, the different traffic routing methods provided by Azure Traffic Manager, and you will also understand about endpoint monitoring and failover. Azure Traffic Manager is a DNS-based traffic load balancer, and it operates at level 7 of the OSI model. Okay. Now, the primary job of Azure Traffic Manager is to distribute traffic to public-facing application endpoints across multiple Azure regions or even outside Azure. So it's not necessary to have your endpoints within Azure. Okay, it can be your on-premises application as well. Okay. Now, the key thing to remember about Azure Traffic Manager is that it's a traffic manager working at a DNS level. It does not sit in the data path and does not proxy traffic. So let's understand how it works. Okay. So when a client try to reach your application, okay, so this traffic manager will receive a DNS query. It will evaluate, right? It will evaluate routing rules and endpoint health. Okay, and based on the routing method which we'll discuss, right? It will return the IP of the the endpoint to which the client can connect to. Now, the client uses that IP and connects to that endpoint or that application directly. Okay, the traffic does not follow through the traffic manager itself. Okay, this is a very key point when you are discussing about Azure Traffic Manager. Now that you have understood how the traffic manager works, let us discuss the different routing methods provided by Azure Traffic Manager. Now, the first one is priority routing method. In this method, the traffic manager sends all the traffic to a primary endpoint, and if that fails, it sends to the endpoint which has the next highest priority. For example, if in this case, if you see, we have given the primary endpoint priority of 1, but now that's not online. Okay, it's degraded. So the traffic manager will return the IP of the failover endpoint, the failover A endpoint, and then the client can connect to that failover A endpoint. This routing method is ideal for disaster recovery scenarios. Okay. Now the second routing method is weighted routing method. In this case, we give a weight to the different endpoint, right? Right. And the traffic is assigned to the different endpoint based on the weight that we have assigned. Okay. And this kind of this routing method is ideal for say controlled traffic distribution. Okay. And it is also suitable for a gradual rollout. So suppose if you have an application, right, which you have deployed to say a staging slot, and there is one in the production slot, right? But you want that the 10% of traffic should reach, the staging slot, which can be used for EV testing. Then this routing method you can use, right? And you can give a weightage of say 90 to production and 10 to the staging slot, right? So we have discussed the priority routing method, the weighted routing method, and next we have is the performance routing method. So this will, return the traffic manager will give the IP address of the endpoint, which shows the least amount of latency. Okay. So, and then again, as we have discussed, right, the client has to directly connect to that endpoint, right? The traffic manager the actual traffic does not passes through the traffic manager. The client directly connects to the endpoint. So the after we have performance routing, right? The another is um geographical. Now, geographical, right? Based on the source IP address, it will determine which endpoint IP it should return to which the client can you can connect to. So this is very important for compliance requirements and data residency scenarios. Apart from that, we have subnet routing, which allows routing based on client IP ranges. Then another option that we have is multi-value routing. Now, multi-value routing returns multiple healthy endpoints in a single JSON response. Now, the user or the client can decide to connect to the endpoint based on I mean which one is it wants to connect to or which one is healthy. So these are the different routing methods that are provided by the Azure. And so we have till now we have discussed what is Traffic Manager, right? It's a global load balancer working at level 7 of OSI model. And then we have discussed how it works. That we have discussed that it does not provide any proxy service, right? And then we have discussed the different routing method. Now what we are going to do is we will head to Azure portal and we'll see a demo. We'll see a demo that how Azure Traffic Manager is distributing traffic. We will be implementing the priority routing method. So let's begin our demo. I have logged into Azure portal. First, what I will do is I will create a couple of virtual machines. So let's start. I'll create a virtual machine. Okay, I'll create a new resource group. Say TM1 and okay, say traffic manager VM1. I'll give the name. I'll keep this in East US region, and I don't want any infrastructure redundancy. Security type will keep as standard, and this is the size is sufficient for our testing. I don't want any SSH public key for authentication. We'll use username and password. So let me fill out those details. Okay. Now I want HTTP traffic to reach to my backend. So apart from SSH, I will allow HTTP as well. Okay. So and then go to networking. I'll make sure that I have a public IP as well. Okay. If it is not showing, I'll create one and I'll take the default whatever it is giving and everything looks good and I'll just create this. So it's again running some validation in the backend. We'll wait for that validation to complete. Once that validation is completed, we'll click on create button and which will create our VM. After that, we'll create another VM. It's taking some more time than usual, but let's wait. Yeah, now all the validations have passed. We'll click on create. Now the deployment has started. Okay. Now what we can do is, as this deployment is going on, we can go ahead and create another virtual machine, right? Say create, and I'll create another resource as well. So this I can give as rgtm2. Okay, then I'll give tm vm2. Okay, this I will keep it in say West Europe. Okay, because I want to show that Azure Traffic Manager is a global load balancer. So let's create it in West Europe. We don't want any infrastructure redundancy. Security type is standard, and again, we'll use password and username for authentication and give the password. Again, for this machine as well, I have to enable HTTP port, which I will do. I'll go to networking. I'm not creating any virtual network or subnet. I'll keep it as it is, whatever the default is. And I am happy with the default options. So I'll review and create. So if you see here, now my first VM has been created. Okay. I will wait for the creation of this second VM. So it's going to take some time. So what I'll do is I'll be back once the second VM is also created. So now my second VM is also created. Now what we will do is we'll create the Azure Traffic Manager profile. So I'll go here, I'll search for Traffic Manager profile and create. I'll put this in first uh, resource group that I created. Keep it name is say TM Contoso. And routing method we are going to use priority. Okay. Okay. Let me give another. Okay. This name is available. We'll simply review and create. We'll go to the resource. Okay. In the resource, we get this DSN name that we will be using to test our load balancer, right? And first, before that, we have to configure our endpoints, right? So let's add the endpoints. While adding the endpoint, it asks you whether it's an Azure endpoint or external endpoint, right? Or a nested endpoint. Even though the virtual machine is within Azure, right? But since we are using the public IP, we'll be going with external endpoint, right? Now, before that, let me go to the virtual machines and take out the IP address of the virtual machines. Okay, so I will go to first resource. I'll say copy and put it into here. Then I'll take the IP of the second virtual machine as well. Now take the first IP, uh, go to the traffic manager profile, and now we will add the endpoints. Click on add external. Name is say primary endpoint, and we'll give the IP. Priority will be 1. Okay, we'll add it. Similarly, we'll take the IP of this second VM. Okay, click on add. External will give IP. Say this is the failover. Okay, we'll give the IP and add. Now, if you go to configuration, this is the so you can see the routing method. Okay, and to check the health probe, I mean, kind of a health probe. So we have discussed health probe in the previous video to check if the endpoints are healthy or not. We are using this protocol HTTP on port 80. Right. So now let's go and check our endpoints if they are online or not. So it's checking the status of that, and once it is online, we can test our traffic manager, right? But before that, what I'll do is I'll go to the I'll open I will SSH to the VMs and install nginx to the VMs, right? Let me open command prompt and I'll take the first VM IP SSH Azure user and first VM. I'll give the password. So I've logged into VM1. Let me install. Now let's install. Install Y. Now let's change the HTML page. I'll just give a simple HTML body. Okay, not this much complex. So I will remove the default which is already provided. We'll say welcome to primary VM1. Okay, then we will save it. Control X. Okay, we can check it if it is done or not. Yeah, it is done. Okay, now the same thing we will do for VM2 as well. Okay, so let me exit from this VM. I'll copy the IP of the second VM and log into it. Okay, update spelling is wrong, so I'll correct it. Okay, sudo apt means ngix. Okay, let's update the HTML page. I will give it as failover VM2. Okay, and this is done. Now let's go and check what happened to our endpoints. Now, if you can see, both our endpoints are now online. Okay, we'll go to this overview, copy this, open this in browser, and you can see we can see the message HTML message that we changed, and let's go to primary. Now let's see the failover. We'll go to Azure portal and stop our VM1. Okay, let's go to VM1 and stop it. It is going to take some time, but once it's stopped, we can see the endpoint status as well as the response that we get from Traffic Manager. It is going to take some time. Let's go to the Traffic Manager endpoint and see if there is any update on there. Nothing as of now. So our VM is stopped. Let us check if there is any update on the um, endpoint status. Okay. Now let's go to the browser and see what is the response we are getting there. It took some time, but now you can see it failed over to VM2. So in this video, we understood what is Traffic Manager, how it works, okay, and we also see a demo on Traffic Manager using priority routing method. So if you like this video or you get to learn something from this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.